Come with us on an updated 2025 visit to Seville. We have covered the major tourist attractions in a previous episode, number 98, but this time we are going to tell you about some of the hidden gems that you can't miss and update the cafe and bars to visit, as well as the ones not to visit while in Seville. We share a story of how I got us locked out of our apartment for over 2 hours in 40-degree heat, and stay listening to the end where we tell you the best thing we have done in all of our 3 visits to Seville. It involves a lot of fun and laughter, especially at ourselves. If you would like to see all the pictures that go along with this episode, including our fun activity, then click the link to episode 130 in the description on the podcast player you are listening on now. Please enjoy episode 130, all about the hidden gems and fun in Seville. Hola, mi amor. How are you going today?
Buen día, está bien.
That's good. Today's podcast, as I said in the intro, is all about Seville. And as I also said in the intro, we have done another episode with all the big monuments and covered a lot of that. And I'm going to put a link to that in the description. But if you've seen all those things and you want to go back to Seville, we found some other places that are really worth visiting as well. And that's what we're going to cover today, yes?
Yep.
Perfecto. So first of all, a bit about Seville and why it's so good, the transport, that sort of thing. Great.
Okay, Seville is the capital and largest city of Andalusia. It's situated on the lower reaches of the river Guadalquivir in the southeast of the Iberian Peninsula. Look, it's pretty much a pretty good transport hub. Airport has a mix of domestic and international flights with connections to 20 destinations in Spain and 57 destinations in other parts of Europe and Northern Africa. It also offers direct flights to international destinations including Istanbul, Paris, Brussels, Rome and Berlin. There is a bus shuttle service from the airport into the centre of the city, cool. And that costs about €5. A taxi, you're probably looking at about 28. There's also direct flights from both Madrid and Barcelona. Madrid's about 2.5 hours. I'm not sure what Barcelona is.
But they also have the fast train, right?
Sure. Yeah. One of the other ideal things about Seville, it's in a great position for day trips to some really, really great cities. And the cities are Cordoba, Cadiz, Ronda, Jerez de la Frontera and Granada. Now, we've got podcasts on all those cities.
But it is a fabulous spot. And as I just said before, the fast train services it really well. So even if you can fly to Madrid and Barcelona, honestly, by the time you get to the airport and wait and get from the airport in, you're much better to hop on the fast train from either of those cities to get to Seville.
So you're going really from the centre of the city to the centre of the city. So it's much better. What is Seville best known for? If you love Spain, you'll love Seville. Essence of Andalusia, a mixture of Arab, Jewish and Roman culture. It is known for flamenco, grand palaces, Moorish architecture and a rich mix of traditional and vibrancy.
And I would say this was our 3rd visit to Seville, and each time we've grown to like it and appreciate it even more, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's a definite vibe to it.
You want a central Spain, it's Seville. So if you're coming to Spain and you're only going to hit the 2 capitals, you're missing out because Seville is typical, as we've said, quintessential Spain. You've got to see it.
Yeah.
And as I said, with our previous podcast, episode 98, we covered the most amazing big ticket items that everyone wants to go to.
Well, basically, the big ticket items are Plaza de España. Lan loves that. Unfortunately, this time it was being set up for a Justin Timberlake concert.
We still got to enjoy walking around it, though. And you got to go there.
Basically, adjacent to that, you've got the Maria Luisa Park, which is just spectacular. Not far from that, you've got the Royal Alcazar of Seville. Unbelievable,
yeah.
The cathedral and the Giraldo of Seville, that's the bell tower. The bell tower is about 50 metres. I actually went up there. The views, you can get views of the river and also the bull ring, and it's just fabulous. Yeah, and this is all in, what episode is it?
98. As I said, on the podcast player you're listening on now, go to the description and there'll be a link to that. And you can just even see the pictures that we took of that. It'll take you straight to that website page. So But this time we did go back to Plaza de España.
Yeah.
Got some nice pickies, as you said, and met some nice people who gave us some great information about where to go. They were very helpful, that young couple who'd been to Australia. It's always nice because it's cool there, and it's often a flamenco show as well. But this time, what did we do? After we went to Plaza de España, which is compulsory.
Yeah, well, you always said that the last time you were disappointed that we didn't go and see the Metropole Parasol Setas de Sevilla, which is basically, it's known as the mushroom of La Encarnacion, the largest wooden structure in the world, designed by German architect Hugo Meyer.
Now, the reason it was built and didn't fully open till 2010, I think it was.
2011.
Okay. Was that area used to be a market many, many years ago, hundreds of stalls, food markets and that sort of thing. That's where all the civilians went. And then it sort of came into disrepair, got a bit grungy, and people didn't want to go to that area. So they had a competition to see what they could do to bring the markets back and make it, beautiful to look at. And this was what won the competition.
Yeah, it's 20 metres tall. The structure features 6 large mushroom-shaped parasols that form a canopy offering shade. It includes a panoramic viewing point at the top and raised plaza, a food market, and an antiquarium museum in the basement. The night we were there, I couldn't believe how good the buskers were.
Yeah, that was nice. So you can actually walk across the top.
Yeah.
You pay to do that, and they say it's best to do that at sunset, and what happens is the whole thing sort of has a bit of a light show and lights up, and the views over the city are amazing. It's about a 40-minute experience up the top, and if you're not scared of heights, then I would suggest you do that. But if, like me, you are, then there's a couple of hotels with rooftop bars overlooking Metropole Parasol.
Basically a bird's eye view.
Yeah, and so you can actually see it without having to walk across it.
Remember Seamus's son, the Irish guy that...
we had some people staying where we were.
Yeah. Well, his son suggested the best thing is to do the rooftop bar.
Because then you can have a drink at the same time.
Yeah. So, and no one are lovely people. But actually, we have forgotten to tell them about our first morning's experience at the hotel.
Well, I'm not sure that everyone wants to hear about how we got locked out of our apartment and had to sit for 2 hours in 40-degree heat by the rooftop pool waiting for someone to come fix it. And luckily, as you mentioned a minute ago, Seamus, who was staying the same, he was there and he had a phone. We had no phone. We just walked out with the key because it was right outside our door, the pool.
Yeah.
And when we went to go back in, the key would not work. And so we had to ask this guy to please, can we borrow your phone? And he obviously booked it through the same people we did, and we were able to contact them. And with my limited Spanish, we worked out they'd be there in 30 minutes, which they were. And he came and had a look, and he couldn't open it either. So then he had to bring someone else. So, it's getting...
We had to bring a locksmith.
Right, which was another 20 minutes, and we're a couple hours in by this stage. However, the locksmith came and he fixed the problem, which was actually, look at the look on Lyle's face. What happened was we had 2 keys, so the only way you could open the door was with the key, or lock it. So on the inside, I left the key inside the lock on the inside of the door, took the other key, came out, shut the door, but with the key on the other side, the one to go inside won't work. So it was a rookie error. It was a stupid mistake. However, it wasn't life-threatening.
No, well, the bonuses was we got to meet Seamus and his family.
Yeah.
And they were fabulous.
Yeah, his wife and his son.
The guy from the apartment, he couldn't have been more friendly. And the locksmith was a pretty good bloke too.
So one of the other places that we've seen on a travel show was the Casa de Pilatos, right?
Correct.
And it's nowhere near in the league of the Alcazar. However, if you want something that still has that amazing architecture, beautiful gardens, and a history, and nobody there, then this is a place for you. The other thing I will mention is the Metropole Parasol is easy walking distance from the centre of the old town.
Yep.
And so is the Casa de Pilatos.
Yeah, well, that's basically on the Santa Cruz barrier.
Yes, it is.
So, look, there's 2 places, and as Leanne said, there's the Casa de Pilatos, and there's also the Palacio de la Duenas. Now, they're very similar. The Casa de Pelidos. The construction began at the end of the 15th century, and it is the prototype of an Andalusian palace. Different styles were combined in the construction of the palace, such as Gothic, Mudéjar, and Italian Renaissance.
So when you walk in, you have that standard courtyard, don't you, with all the arches and the beautiful tiles on the
marble,
ground.
the marble, and then there's the fountain in the center of it. Look, it was pretty spectacular.
And then it must be like the Moorish architecture, the roofs in the outside corridor ways. You look up, it's got those beautiful detailed ceilings as well, and then there's areas where you look out through the horseshoe-shaped windows, which once again are the Moorish influence, onto the gardens, which are stunning and feature orange trees and also those lots of water features as well.
Yeah, look, it was pretty spectacular. And at the Casa de Palados, the upper floor has a collection of paintings and tapestries. The story with the Las Duenas Palace was the residence of the Dukes of Alba, and it's still in their family. It was built in Seville in the 15th and 16th centuries and was founded by the Pineda family, who had to sell it to Donna Catalina de Ribera in 1484 to recover Don Juan de Pineda, who had been taken prisoner by the Moors. So that, to me,
paying a ransom.
Yeah, they had to pay a ransom to get him back. So
now, I forgot to say, this is episode 30, and there'll be a link to the pictures that go with this episode as well. And I do have photos of the Metrosol, Parasol, and of the Casa del Palados, the beautiful architecture and the symmetry in the gardens there. It was really beautiful and so quiet. I think we maybe saw half a dozen other people to wander around that. It's certainly worth going, and very reasonable to get in as well.
Yeah, well worth the visit.
Sure.
And another day we decided we were going to go to the Triana district.
So it's on the opposite side of the river to the old town area that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
There's a couple of bridges to get you across, and it's an easy walk across. It's really nice actually walking across because you can look down the river. It's a wide river, and there's people rowing. There's the old replica ships on there. You can see the Tower of Gold from a different angle as well. So really lovely. And then you look back over the Bull Ring as well. So yeah, it's a nice wander over to the Triana district.
Well, the Isabel II Bridge was built between 1845 and 1852 and was designed by two French engineers who were inspired by the Carrousel Bridge, a structure erected in Paris in 1831. What Leanne's saying is a street that goes along the river, that's called Betis Street, which is Betis Street.
Now, this area is better at night. You can't go the day. Yes,
but you've stole my thunder there.
Sorry,
girl.
there. Yeah, but it's because it's a huge flamenco area, and there's lots of bars and cafes that open along that Betis Street, right on the river. Look, and it's just pumping it at night time, isn't it?
Yeah, look, and the views across to the other bank after dark are just spectacular.
Yeah, it's really
nice. Yeah, well worth a visit.
But there is a little food market there.
Yep.
So it's the Market of Seville. Now, I don't know if that's open at night. We went and visited that through the day. It's got your typical meat, fish, cheese, jamon, and what we were after was some beautiful fresh fruit. Stalls.
Which we had.
We did, yeah. So that's a really nice little market there, and that's right on the bridge as well.
Yeah.
So you can't miss that.
Triana, you've got to say, it's not like the old town of Seville. It's very local.
Yes.
It seems very local. But its big thing is flamenco. They say it's the home of flamenco in Seville.
Yeah.
And also their ceramics and pottery. It's very well known for that.
And there's another pedestrian street that as you go over the bridge, you instead of going along Better Street, you keep going straight ahead, and it's full of cafes, restaurants, and bars there as well. So it's a really great pumping area, like great vibe at night time.
Yeah. So after that, we actually went back across the Isabel II Bridge and just started walking. And we'd seen a street called Calais Sierpes a couple of days previously.
Yeah. Now, this is one of the most famous shopping streets in Seville. And you loved it because it was just full of old-fashioned stores that sell all the things that people love about Seville, which are the flamenco stores.
Yep.
And I've got a few pictures of those. The fabrics in those, the dresses, the shawls, the jewellery, the head pieces.
None of it was cheap, though.
I would love one of those shawls. I don't know where you'd wear it, but just the silk fabrics and the window displays, and then they've got all their beautiful fans. Oh, they're so beautiful, and there's probably 3 or 4 of them there, not far from each other. Unbelievable. And then there was another shop we went to because we saw it on a TV show, the hat shop. And once again, they make all these hats there, and you'd walk in, it's a tiny little shop, and it's just full of hat boxes, and they have a few on display, and they make them for you. But it's worth going to check that out. And then right across the road, there's another hat shop where you did actually try on a few hats. Hey,
I did.
and then there was another shop that I would have loved to spend money in, and that was make your own espadrille. So
That's right, there was.
So you pick the base and then the colour on the top, and if you want a pattern on it, and the ribbon that you tie up around your leg.
The actual shop back in the day was the commercial heart of Seville. Since the 15th century, it's been an important
This street, you mean?
centre of trade, home to blacksmiths, cobblers and artisans. Nowadays, the street is lined with exquisite architecture. I love the buildings.
Yeah, it did.
Right, and there was a lot of colour, like different colours and that sort of thing.
The bars and cafes along there, you go in, and the timber work in those must be original because it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, and eventually it ends up at Plaza San Francisco, which is one of the most beautiful squares in the city.
It's easy to find, easy to walk along. You could spend a couple of hours looking at all the beautiful shops there.
But funnily enough, like when we say the history of the shopping centre, I think the first shop I actually noticed was a Rolex shop.
Oh, was it?
As we walked down the street. But you've got to visit. We did it. We actually had done it the first time at night. We just sort of fell into that particular street, walking around, just looking at the buildings in Seville and thinking, this is amazing. Then we found this street. So we went back in the daytime, and you've got to visit it. It's
so I've got some
good.
photos of some of the shops, but I've also got quite a few photos that goes with this, beachtravelwine.com, episode 130, of just walking around the streets. Now, you said we found a lot of places. We went out early one morning, and I got a picture of down the street with the jacaranda trees, not a soul around.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then looking back towards the cathedral with the tram line, the modern with the old was amazing. Then I've got some photos of the horse and carts, one's in front of the Alcazar, one's in front of the Gold Tower, just some buildings at that Plaza San Francisco at night as well. So, check out that episode 130 in the links in the show notes.
Now, that shop, the hat shop, is called Sombreros Magedano. That sounds more Italian than
it does.
Spanish, but that's what it is. It's a millinery shop, so they make the hats to order as well. Now, just following on from what Leanne was saying about the farrier shops with those beautiful women's clothes and the hair pieces and the jewellery and all that sort of thing.
Well, they have those because they have some main festivals, and one of them includes a ferry, which they have all that stuff, yeah? So tell us about the Feria de Abril.
Okay, so a vibrant week-long celebration with casetas, which are basically private marquees, flamenco music and dancing, traditional tapas, and rebujito, which is a local drink. Look, it's just the biggest deal. And, of course, what lands was...
It's the biggest party, biggest fiesta.
Yeah, and all the girls get dressed up in these beautiful flamenco outfits. And
hair, the earrings.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Spanish people are a good-looking race.
They're on their horses. The guys have got their hats on. They've got their suits on. But so if you are going to go to Seville and you can time it with the feria, it is going to be busy, but you'll see sights that you won't even imagine how beautiful it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and that particular festival is normally around the Semana Santa, which is basically the Holy Week.
So that's another festival.
It's generally the week before Easter. It involves processions and elaborate floats depicting scenes from the Passion of Christ and the Virgin Mary.
So people
carrying the floats, the people underneath the monstrances.
Like the beautiful detailed work. Yeah, they're pretty impressive as well.
Okay, and also what's held at that time is the bullfighting.
Okay.
Now, during regular seasons, March to April through to late September, the most important bullfights, called the Corridas de Toros, usually takes place during the Feria de Abril. Mm-hmm. So it's a real big thing.
Yeah.
There is another biennial festival, which is obviously every 2 years, which is the Flamenco Festival. Takes place in September, showcasing top flamenco performers from across Spain. Yeah, okay. So I reckon that'd be
Yeah.
pretty damn good too.
Yeah, so there's a lot to do, even if you can go in those times.
Yeah, well, you also got Corpus Christi, a religious festival celebrated in May or June, often featuring processions and
Same
other
sort of thing as
traditional
the
events.
Semana Santa.
So one of my biggest raps I can give to Seville, probably Spain in general, is their embracing of their traditions. It's fabulous.
Yeah, and you can see that because you see the families out. Mum's got the long flowing dress on with the frills on it, the polka dots. It's just stunning. She got the headpiece, the beautiful big earrings that match, and husband or partner's got the white shirt and the pants and the lovely big round hat that they wear. And then the kids are dressed up, like the little boys are dressed like dad and the little girls are dressed like mum.
Yeah.
So they're continuing the tradition. So it's not just old people, it's families that embrace the ferias and the costumes and the traditions, Spanish traditions, which is fabulous.
Well, just to go along with that, the other thing I love about Spain is how often you'll see the nanas or the abuelas and the great abuelas, grandmothers, walking along with their sons and daughters arm in arm, even at midnight. And family, obviously, to the Spanish people, is just so important.
Okay, so that's a lot of the little bits and pieces that we did this time. As I said, we covered the big ones in episode 98, and we're so glad we went back and did these extra things this time, because then we've got a complete package on Seville. And in our last episode as well, we talked a lot about different places to go for food.
Yep.
And this is the 2025 updated version of some places that we recommend and we've been to. So if you're heading to Seville, check these ones out. Now, the first two are in almost the main street off into the Jewish quarter off
Santa Cruz.
So you're basically looking straight down towards the cathedral and the bell tower. So the views are magnificent. We went to La Azoteca, and the food there was amazing. It's sort of old world, but with a modern twist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah,
food.
we had we had a shrimp omelette, and these are tapa, croquettes, and I had the beef ribs, and they were simply superb.
Yeah.
And quite
obviously
cheap.
Probably a Tinto de Verano in there, or a Vino Blanco.
I think I may have had a cerveza con limon.
Maybe.
So that's a drink that I probably wouldn't admit that I would drink at home in Australia, because you'd be called all sorts of names. But it's basically just beer with lemon squash, half and half.
Yum.
And seriously, on a hot day, and you don't want to start too early, it's a perfect drink.
And then right across the road, you go from that modern decor, although you're sitting outside in both of these, across to the Cafe Catedral. And it's got to be seen to be believed. It's one of those cafes, bars, restaurants that has bullheads all over the place. So I've got a nice photo of those. I love them. I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're in Spain, doesn't it? There's just nothing that says Spain more than a bullhead overlooking you while you eat, I'd say. See or not?
Yeah, see.
But once again, the food there was great. The service is great. Like, you sit there and watch the people walk past, or look down to the cathedral once again. And I really enjoyed going there. I think that's a no-brainer when you're in Seville. To go and check that
absolutely.
out.
And Leanne's probably going to give me the dirtiest level looks, but in one of the prior podcasts, we give
in episode 98, we talk about Bar Santa Cruz, and
Barriga Santa Cruz.
Yes.
And we give it the best rap because the people behind the bar and everything were just so friendly, so happy, and the food was great. Unfortunately, we went this time.
That was the first place we went. Once we got...
as soon as we got to Seville, that was the first place we had.
So excited to go back there.
And it was terrible.
Yeah, it was really bad this time. And it was more to do with the staff. She just didn't want to have anything to do with us at all.
People that are regulars that listen to us, they know we don't really bag out or complain.
But go and check it out yourself, because it is an original bar. It does have the original decor. Make your own decision.
Which is what we loved about it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it seemed pretty obvious to me that they'd sold out the father and the son, and these people had taken over, and they were pretty bloody average. But anyway, However, Leanne said to me before we got to Seville, she wanted me to check out some of the tapa bars and restaurants.
Well, what I actually said was, I've organised absolutely everything. And one of the things I really dislike about being on holidays is walking around and around at night trying to find somewhere to eat. I know, first world problems. But I said to Lyle, do some research, please. Check out where we can go to eat. I don't want to have to do that as well. And he's like, oh, actually, that's fair enough. So he did do that.
Yeah, and I actually ended up on Googling what's the best restaurants, whatever. And I think I got this off TripAdvisor. But this place was unbelievably good.
Abbaceria del Postigo.
Yeah.
And luckily it was literally 150 metres from where we were staying.
Correct.
And we liked it so much, we were there for 3 nights. We went twice.
We went twice.
Yeah.
Probably the dearest tapa we had.
But you do need to book or line up because it's not big.
Yeah. And I think at 8 o'clock, I think it opens.
Yes.
And we went there the first time and it was like 3 minutes past 8 because we knew that it was opening at 8. The bloody place was full.
Yeah.
So anyway, the guy was really great.
He said, come back in half an hour.
Yeah, come back in a half an hour. And we came back and...
so you either sit at a bar or a wooden bench, up on stools. It's not a comfy sit-down restaurant. And they make the food all there in front of you. And yeah, the food was great.
Yeah, I loved it. I really did.
The atmosphere was nice, and they were really friendly, weren't they?
Yeah.
It is open for lunch sometimes, and dinner from 8. So that's Abbaceria del Postigo.
Yeah, Abbaceria del Postigo.
I actually have a photograph of that, so you can go to the website on the link in the description, and you can see the picture and get the name from it there if you like. And just down from there, even closer to where we stayed, was a modern, funky cocktail bar, wasn't it? Yeah. It was called the 19. And if you didn't know it was there, like if we hadn't had to walk home, you probably would never have found it. But it was very upmarket and very modern, and I just enjoyed the atmosphere there because it's very different. Nice, comfy chairs, beautiful aircon, and we had a couple of nice gin and tonics there.
Yeah, it was actually quite funny because when we first got there, it was almost like they didn't want you to come in. There's a sliding automatic door.
We got to go up the steps first, and there's a glass panel. You're like, oh, hang on, there's someone in there, but I can't get in. Then you turn to the left, and okay, it's a sliding door. Oh, it's not opening. Must be closed.
Yeah, but there's a button there.
Yeah, but it doesn't say in very easy to find, press here to open. So you've got to actually find the button, know to press it to open it to get in. And when we were sitting there having drinks, there's probably 6 or 7 people came up those stairs and had a look and then turned around.
Yeah, because they didn't realise how to get in.
No,
but anyway, we had a couple of gin and tonics, and the gin and tonics were €8 each. But funnily, we saw a couple of business people pay their bill, and I think it was like €48.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and thought, shit, I wonder how much these gin and tonics are going to cost. But they must have had about 8 each.
But you know what? It's well known for its movie-based cocktails. So they've got like the Shawshank Redemption, and they've got
that's right.
They've got all these different movie things, and so they come out. Sometimes one looks like a drip, and like it's just crazy cocktail. So if you want to try something like that, that's the place to go.
But for a gin and tonic, €8, great value, and also a Vino Blanco and a very, very nice glass of white wine, €3.50.
Perfect.
So I would have thought it would have been dearer than that.
So check those out if you're heading to Seville.
Last day we were there, we came out of our apartment and we walked across the tram line, and there was a little place on La Callejuela, which is Juela. Huela. Fantastic coffee, coffee con leche, €150, and we had the fresh orange juice for $2.50, and full of locals, very, very busy, but for a breakfast place, cheap and really good.
So it's Cafe La Callejuela. Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's a really good breakfast
Now it's
place.
your turn.
Thank you. Well, we obviously went back to Seville because we like it so much, but we had another reason to go because I'd been given another birthday present. Remember the cooking lesson from Malaga? And this was another.
I was there.
Yes. So this is another gift that we were given, and this was a flamenco lesson. Now, I would say that we went with a bit of trepidation. We'd seen a flamenco show. We didn't really know what to expect. We're not the best dancers, or one of us isn't. And so, and so
Leanne said to me last night, if you haven't got rhythm, you got nothing.
Did I say that?
Yeah. Well,
No,
I think
actually, that's what the flamenco guitarist said to me, because
Yeah.
I said to him, I love the clapping. And he said, if you don't have rhythm, you got nothing. That's it. So
I thought, I misunderstood. I thought you were talking to me. But anyway, go on.
Thank you. So we thank you to our family who gifted us this flamenco lesson. And
Yes, Talia.
it had optional costumes, which of course we were going to do. So once again, we walk, easy to get to, and we walk into this little dance studio. And I would say there's 10 women in there and me and Lyle, and I can just see Lyle's face drop. And they're all laughing, and he's just like, oh my God. And I'm thinking he's going to...
That's not what I was saying.
I was thinking he was going to be the only bloke. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'll make him start it, and then I can say to him, you can sit down if you want. So I was willing to give in. However, those ladies were actually from the previous lesson. Yes?
Correct.
Yes. And they were on their way out. So they left, and then it's just you and me and another couple of ladies come in. But then a family turns up, four, mum, dad, and actually 5, mum, dad, 2 adult kids, and one of their partners. So there was 2 guys, the dad and the son.
Yes, g'day Dan, g'day Dave.
And Dad and Dave. And so Lyle says to him, I know why I'm here, and I've been given strict instructions.
I've got to behave myself.
Because I've said, it's my birthday present. Don't muck
you mess up.
Yeah.
So.
And he said, well, I'm here because I watch Rick Steves. And
that was Dan, the father, Dave.
Yes.
And I thought, well, that was an honest answer.
So we got dressed up, and honestly, go and check out episode 130, the pictures with the link, because you'll see that we're dressed up, we're laughing, we've got our hands in the air. And I did put a link to the lesson that we did because it was fun. Anyway, so we'd start the lesson. Lyle's hasn't got a lot of rhythm, as he admits that himself, but poor old Dave has even less.
Dave and Dan. Well, Dan, I think he came third.
And so, not to be mean, because everyone's having fun, but because I told Lyle he wasn't to laugh and misbehave, and so the other guys start laughing uncontrollably at themselves, at no one else. And then so that gives you the giggles.
Yeah.
It all turns into a lot of fun. And we did the lesson, we learned the steps, we put it all together. By the end of it, we all had the same routine down.
Yeah.
We all videoed each other, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's honestly a highlight of the whole trip. I loved it. And like I did the cooking class. In fact, I said to Leanne after it that maybe wherever we go, we should do something like different.
Some activity.
Yeah, something that's different that we wouldn't normally do, which like the football in Malaga as well.
Yeah.
Look, it was great. And I did say to Dan and Dave, I did appreciate them coming because they made me look good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, and I know it was a gift, but it's not expensive because I did go and find the link to it. So yeah, check it out. It's certainly worth, and you'll get some nice photos. You'll have a memory that you won't ever forget of Seville. Yeah?
And the young girl that she wasn't out. I think she was about 32. She looked about 12, but she was really, really good.
Well, she obviously does it regularly and was very patient with us. So, yeah. Anyway.
More so me, but anyway.
Okay, so this time, Lyle, where was your favourite place to have a glass of wine in Seville?
I'd have to say Aberceria del
Postigo,
yeah.
Okay.
Only because the food was as good as I've had.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the drinks were not expensive, and you got a decent drink.
Yeah, and I would say the Cafe Catedral, because
you love it.
I do. I don't know. Like, I loved all the bull paraphernalia, the bullfighting, and I know it's not kosher and all that sort of stuff, but I just feel like it's in Spain and it's really cool. I enjoyed it for sure. So as I said, this is episode 130. The link to the website with the pictures and the flamenco lesson and everything is in the description on the player you're listening on, and also the link to our previous podcast, episode 98, which we cover all the other big monuments that you need to see and other restaurants and things as well. So next time we will see you somewhere else around España.
See.
So adios from me.
And adios from me.